Player 2 has joined the game.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 374 of the Two Player Co-op Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts here, Kevin, along with my brother from my mother, Sean.
How are we doing?
Fantastic. If this is the first time you're ever seeing, hearing, or listening to us, this is the Two Player Co-op Podcast, where just about every week, or two or three, two brothers get together to tell you everything you need to know about in the world of video games. If you like that, make sure you like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends, family, and everyone in betwixt. If you only listen on audio, it's Luigi's Mansion, audio, brothership, audio. That's cool too. Just give us a 5-star review, thumbs up, or whatever your service allows. If you really like us, you can go to patreon.com/2playercoop, where we got a lot of different benefits for you people. For $1, you get the podcast live one day early. For $3, you get a bonus episode every month, which we just put ours up. Our most anticipated games of 2025. 2025 is about to be lit, y'all. $5, you can watch us record the podcast live on YouTube as we are doing right now. That gives you the most value. Hit it up. Hit us up. Hit them up. Never mind. Some of our patrons.
I never minded.
You never did?
I never did.
Our patron saint, the man with the bar named after him, the winner of the 2024 Fantasy Metacritic League, Mr. John Tinkley. He's getting all these names now. All these accolades.
He's got a lot of titles.
I got a lot of titles, but it doesn't work. Also, our affiliates, Derek Bamford, James Solar. Make sure you check out James Games and more on YouTube as well. Also, Mom. As well as our producers, Steve Appleton, Aunt Sue, and Dustin Downs. If you like cool t-shirts and the like, you can go to teespring.com/stores/2player-co-op. Sean, do you have any witty banter before we get into it?
So last week, I was talking about New Year's resolutions.
Mm-hmm. You're not in the hospital, so that's good. No rhabdo. Uh-oh. You had rhabdo?
No.
Oh.
But it's funny you should say that.
You should
say that. From January 1st to 13, 12, 11. In 10 days. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's legit. I lost like 3.2 pounds. Mm-hmm. Not bad. So Friday we had a snow day. So Friday I was working from home and I didn't have a whole lot to do. And a few years ago I got one of those, I don't even know what it's called, but it's like it looks like a giant metal bow and arrow thing.
Yeah, where
it's
you
got
do
the
all
different
the
straps on it.
Yeah.
I've got them all on there just for storage, and I never use the thing. So I'm like, let's just make sure it's all together. So I'm like, I'm like in between calls. So I get down on the ground and just I'm like, let me do the equivalent of, bench press with that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's 500 pounds, yeah. You
like,
hurt yourself, didn't you?
Well, I'm like, let's see how many I can do. Until I'm like, I'm not going to go until my arms
fall off, yeah.
Till the roof comes off.
Till the lights go out. Am I high?
But I got to like 30 and I'm like, okay. I was like, all right, that's good. And I'm like, all right, now what? I'm like, oh, it's going to get harder and harder. So I'm like, let me catch my breath. Then I'm going to go to 25, catch my breath, 20, catch my breath, 15, 10, 5.
Yeah. Touchdown.
And I hurt myself somehow. And both of I guess it's my triceps because I think it's all, it's like all underneath. They hurt.
Well, but that's where my biceps tendon hurt. That's why I had to have my surgery.
Well, and it's moved. It hurt right around my elbow, and now
it moved.
Now it's moving back this way. But
don't have surgery like I did. It sucks.
I don't think I'm going to. But there's one night where I couldn't sleep, and my arms were hurting, and I'm like, oh God, I hope this isn't rhabdo again. And I don't think it is because I haven't peed coffee.
Yeah.
But yeah, they hurt. That was all the witty banter I had.
This is very witty. Coming out in 2 days. Actually, a couple things might be happening on January 16th, and we'll talk about both of them. First off, we got the final trailer for Castlevania Nocturne. I will say this for Season 2. If you have not seen Season 1, don't watch that trailer. Don't watch any of the trailers they've put out. Every one of them, all 2 of them, I think, spoil the hell out of season 1. Sean has never watched it. I've asked Sean to watch it many times.
I'm starting. I mean, I started.
You started. You watched 1 episode, and you're like,
last October.
Yeah. Sean. So you're through 3 eps?
I'm through 3 eps.
Okay. I did look up. I was like, when does this certain thing happen? Because I was like, I think there's a few slow episodes. Because there's only 8, right?
8.
Episode 5, a new character comes in. And I was like, oh, wait, what? That's not that guy? Oh. And then I played the games that I just played, all the Dominus Collection games, and I was like Leo. Well, if I would have played the games first, I would have been like Leo. So there's a character that comes in. Once that character shows up, it picks back up for those last 3 episodes. That's awesome. But what do you think?
4 is not great.
From 5, what I remember,
new character shows up, and then
it gets better and better and better. The last 2 minutes of this season, because when I was going on Reddit trying to find whatever that song was for you, I just went down a rabbit hole. People just talking about it, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, that last minute, that minute and a half, are you kidding me?" I was like, "You see, it was all worth it to get to that."
Wait, of what? Episode 5?
No, of the season.
Oh, the last minute of the season.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The last episode's awesome, but the last minute and a half, 2 minutes is just amazing.
So it's fine. I feel like I am not nearly as
invested.
Yeah, with these characters. I love Richter, but I'm also just like, I don't. I like the action. But the story, I'm just like, I can't keep track. There's the church, but then there's the vampire people. I'm like, which ones are the bad guys? Are they both bad guys, but in different ways? And then there's the La Resistance. Right. You got all these old white guys, and I can't keep track. I'm like, is that the same guy that I just saw there? Are these 2 different people? I can't keep track of who's who.
You got the vampire.
But all the action is good. The guy, well, I don't want to spoil anything. The opera singer guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was episode 2 or 3. I think it was 2.
When he got.
Well, yeah. I wasn't going to spoil anything.
Well,
but
people die.
That's not even what I was going to talk about. When I think I was texting you because I think maybe I missed something. But they're burying Maria's bird or something. And he's like, oh, let me sing a song. And he sings for 5 minutes straight. I'm like, oh my god, are we?
It's weird.
Move on from this, please?
His singing was weird. As you get further in, and because obviously he's still a character.
Yeah.
As you get further in, that starts to actually kind of make sense. It's not my favorite part of it.
Oh, okay.
But I was thinking,
it just seemed very out of place. I'm like, this could have been about 5 seconds.
It's so now we're doing a sonata, I guess. And I do agree that while I did like the season, I'm not as connected. I do want to go back and watch it the next couple days before season 2 comes out. I definitely was not as invested in Richter as I was Trevor, and I was like, okay, they're both very well acted. Sypha was very well acted. Saint-Germain, when he shows up, well acted. Dracula was awesome. Dracula's wife, everything, it's so well done. And I was like, that's the same thing here. Everything's well done. And I'm like, is it really just because I didn't play Rondo of Blood? We played Castlevania 3 a million times. Is that why?
I think Castlevania 3 is a much bigger part of our
lives.
Well, I was going to say childhood, but yeah, our lives than Symphony and or Rondo.
Right.
So maybe that's part of it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's fine. They're short enough that I can knock out 2. I'll probably watch 2 more episodes tomorrow when I ride. When does the new season come out?
Thursday.
Oh, well.
The day of the draft.
Crap, whatever. This is Netflix?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're all going to come out at the same time.
Yeah. So I'm going to be busy Thursday into Friday.
Have they said, is it 8 episodes again?
I don't think they've said.
Okay.
But Castlevania went from 4
To like 10.
to 8 to 10 to 10, I think.
Yeah.
I think the second season was only 8. Yeah, because the whole 8th episode was the aftermath of 7, which makes never mind. You know what I mean, though? Like 7 was the one. It was the penultimate episode, and you know what I mean. And yeah, what?
I don't know. I was just gonna say it's fine. If I were to judge it now, way too early, it's probably my least favorite season because at least season 1 of series 1,
It set
like,
everything.
Here's Trevor. Here's Dracula. Like,
Here's Sypha.
yeah,
Yeah.
give it to me. This is like here's Richter, but it's kind of not even real. I feel like he's not even the main character. It like he's there, but I feel like it's more about Maria. It's more about
The lady,
the girl,
Annette.
Annette.
Yeah.
Annette. Like I feel like it's more about them, and Richter's just like, "Hi guys, I'm here too," and I'm like, "Give me more." And maybe that's why I don't feel like I'm as connected to it, is because it doesn't even seem like it's about Richter.
Yeah.
The other one was very much about Trevor.
Well, and Trevor steals the show from the second he shows up, like 10, 15 minutes
He's a much
in,
more
grounded, relatable, like
Yeah.
everything. Have you met, is there another white lady that's kind of taken on a big role yet? Like a mom
a
in
vampire.
the village? No.
No.
Okay. Her name is like Tara or something like that. I can't remember what her name is, but she ends up being a big part of it.
Not Maria's mom.
Yeah.
I feel like her name might be. Okay, then.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it
yeah,
is Maria's mom. I forgot that
Yeah.
part. Her story.
I got like one flashback where she like had to kill her sister or something to like. I think that was her sister.
Okay.
Anyways, when she escaped the big bad lady vampire or whatever, and
Urzabet, whatever.
Urzabet,
Elizabeth, yeah.
yeah.
Her story gets really cool.
Okay.
It's really well done. So yeah, you've been in a lot of setup. That's why it's really good. This is not like Brothership where I'm like, I promise, once you get to 40 hours, it's really good when you get all the moves.
Or
Death Stranding when
Yeah,
you
I
get
couldn't
out
think
of
of the
chapter
name.
3.
yeah.
Can't wait. I'm excited. Yeah, it is probably that first season. I probably would put it.
Oh, that's what I was going to
Fifth
say.
out of
Right now,
5.
it's behind. Yeah, it's the bottom. Now it may get better.
No, actually, I would put it above season 1 because mostly just because that's 4 episodes. But where you're at, I completely get that. I think by the time you get to the end, I think it'll move above season 1. But it's not better than 2, 3, or 4. There's no way.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Also, supposedly on January 16th, little thing like the Switch 2 is supposed to be revealed. This shit's getting out of control. So we got more Switch leaks. So like I said, supposedly, I do it too. But when I notice it and it's not me, it annoys me.
I've noticed you do it.
I do? Well, you do it too.
I do not.
Oh, bull crap.
I don't.
Bull crap. I don't.
Bullsh crap.
Bull crap. So Nate the Hate, Reliable Leaker, and VGC have both said that the Switch 2 reveal is coming this week, possibly January 16th, and it will be a hardware-only showcase, with a game showcase coming in February or March, and the Switch launch window is supposed to be May or June. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, that too. We're starting to hear about some games that could be coming out for it, including Assassin's Creed. I don't think Shadows. What was the last one?
Valhalla?
Mirage.
Oh.
Mirage. I know James is going to correct me because I know he will. And I want you to. That's not a bad thing. I want you to. Metal Gear Solid Delta. Red Dead Redemption 2. Halo the Master Chief Collection. Now, this is not that this would be a launch game. It would be the most weird thing ever to launch a Nintendo console with Halo. Like, just say that sentence out loud. Think about that in your head. As well as Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024.
I mean, that's pretty strange too.
That is too. Also, everybody saw the leaks from CES where this guy, multiple people I would say, and I guess they just 3D printed them. Because at first when I saw people put it in our Discord, I was like, there's no way that the Switch itself is just there. And like, what? Like, there's no way the actual Switch is there. It was just a mock-up of somebody 3D printed it because we've got all the spec, we've got the dimensions, we got everything. Apparently, Nintendo's lawyers showed up and were like, "Hey, you and you and you, y'all got to stop doing this. It's ridiculous." They probably didn't say that. They probably spoke in Japanese also, but that's what they did. Also, as of a few days ago, the logo leaked. Now, I could have faked this. In fact, I think I might have already done this for one of our thumbnails because it is Switch 2. I get it that it's not the Super Nintendo Switch. I get it because that is too close to the Wii U, like confusion wise. Because remember, well, we don't remember because we were kids, but looking back on video game history, parents were confused and pissed that the Super NES didn't play NES games. Backwards compatibility was a big deal even back then. They're like, what the hell? Why would I buy this machine when Tommy's already got this thing over here? If I get a new VCR, I can plug my VHSs in. You know, it was a different time.
Yeah, but if you buy a DVD player, you can't stick your VHS in that.
No, but you can put CDs in there and listen to music.
That's true. I don't like the Switch 2. I think that's every bit as dumb as the Wii U. I think PlayStation knew what they were doing. Here's the PlayStation. You know, here's PlayStation 2. They knew they were going PlayStation 3. We're not going to get a Switch 3, Switch 4, right. Switch 5. Like, that just sounds stupid. If you're not going to have... It's weird to just have 2. Here's your Switch, because that just reeks of Wii U again. It's like, here's that one, and then here's basically the same thing, but a little bit better before you get the something that's not a Switch. Right. Like, and I mean, everything we've seen, it's very clearly... A Switch still. So I get it. You can't just call it something totally different. But like, Nintendo has been killing it lately. But I feel like this has been fumbled so badly. And they're going to come out. They're not going to talk about games. They're going to be like, here's the Switch 2. It's just like the Switch.
It's a little bigger.
It's 2.
Bigger screen.
It's a little bit bigger, just like that last one we put out that was also a little bit bigger. And here's another one that's also a little bit bigger. It's got magnets on the side.
Yes! Magnets!
And we finally look like hardware that came out 10 years ago in terms of graphic. Like, it just seems so... And maybe they'll just come out and kill it. I'm looking forward to the reveal.
Yeah.
But I'm also, I feel like I'm going to come away from it being like, we already have a George. This is not, what are we doing?
Well, it's not even that we already have a George. It's that even like the PS5 reveal, the first thing they did with the PS5 was the Mark Cerny Power Hour, right? Where he was just doing the ASMR talk about everything. Right. Yeah. Then they showed the thing when they did the future of gaming or whatever. And I think they gave it a date then as well. But like that was like interesting because it was super powerful stuff. And I understood like, ooh, SSD makes it more powerful. Okay. It's like, cool. They're not going to have somebody like Mark Cerny up there.
Right.
That's going to talk about this. Like it's going to be a Switch with better resolution, a more powerful dock that's going to AI upscale to 4K when it goes to the TV. Also, like we had so many leaks about the original Switch, but they were like more fun, if that makes sense. Like this is just
because it was new.
Yeah, this is just
new.
the same thing coming again. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say everything I just ragged on Nintendo about, I also kind of understand that when we get a new Xbox or a new PlayStation, it's the same thing. It just looks a little better. So it's hard to rag on Nintendo about that. However, it's the same thing except a little bit better, and everything that it's doing a little bit better is still not as good as what the other things, like PS5 comes out and say, hey, 4K or 120 frames per second or no loading time or blah, 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 blah. It's like there's things you can point to other than just it's just a little bit better. This is just going to be a little bit better. And if you start calling out, guess what? We can do 60 frames per second. We've got 4K graphics. Be like, okay. Yeah. We know. We've been doing this for years now. Like, where have you been? So that's why I'm just, I don't know. It's weird because I'm very excited for it because I can't wait to see it. New hardware is awesome. Yes. Yeah. But I just have I don't even want to be sold on it. I'm not like going into this like, man, I hope they make me want to buy it. I just do not see that as a possibility. I'm still excited, but I'm like, I don't know who this is for. I cannot for the life of me understand it. Unless they just drop a bomb on us. But I feel like everything's pretty much already been leaked at this point.
Oh, we've also heard about potentially Mario Kart 9. I think we're all assuming there's going to be a new 3D
the best
Mario.
part is going to be the new games, right. And apparently we're not talking about that yet. So it's just, here's the Switch. It's going to look just like the other one, maybe an extra millimeter or two bigger. We'll be back in a couple months to talk about what you can actually play on it.
Yeah, and the other thing that sucks is just, I still wonder, we know it's backwards compatible, but there's been rumors for a while that they're going to have a 4K 60 Breath of the Wild. Now, is that going to be a new release for $70, or is it going to be an upgrade? Like, are they going to pull a Sony that? I wonder, or is it just going to get up-resed and up-framed, whatever?
Yeah.
But if that's the case, I'm also like, we don't want that George. We've got a better George now. We've got Tears of the Kingdom. Make that game do that. Do that. Yeah. Also, I heard somebody was saying I think it was on GameScoop that I think it's supposed to have 256 gigs of onboard storage, which is good because the other one had friggin' 32, I think. Maybe it was 64. I can't remember. I think it was 32, though. Wow. And it is still going to take SD cards. However, it seems like it's not going to take the same SD cards that we currently...
Of course not.
Now, it's not going to be as bad as Sony with the Vita memory cards, but there's like a new generation. It's almost, it seems like from what I heard people talking about, it's almost like if you could make an SD card act like an SSD. Like whatever it is, the new technology in the SD card is going to be a lot faster, I guess.
It's an SSD card?
Well, I could have said that. That would have made a lot more sense. But also, yeah, I don't know if that's true. I don't know, man. It's like I just... Oh, that's what I was going to say.
The other thing I don't get is why... And I know the technology is totally different, but it's so weird. Like you had Nintendo, you had Super Nintendo, you had N64, you had Genesis, and all these things just, you know, play, go play. There it is. Here's your game. Boom. Off and running. No loading time. And then we got to disc. And it's like, okay, well, we can do more, but you're going to have to wait a little bit. And then Nintendo doesn't use discs, and still the load times are insane. Like,
Breath
why?
of the Wild, and then Tears of the Kingdom. I think I timed it was like a minute 10. Or something
I don't
in
understand
and out of a shrine. As much as it's one of my favorite games of all time. Yes, why are we why?
Yeah.
And I get it's loading a giant world, but when you go into a shrine that's not a giant world,
yeah, what
are we loading? When you go back into the world, I get that, but going in, there's
what are you boying?
What are you boying, stranger? Also, Nintendo normally doesn't comment on stuff, but this has gotten so out of control that Nintendo actually did issue a comment that said, quote, "These images and videos are not official," end quote.
I'm like, well,
no shit.
Yeah, I know they're not official. They didn't say they're not right.
Right.
They just said they're not official.
They're not. We didn't make the videos.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
please be excited for when that happens. It is exciting, but it's not. I was over the moon for the original Switch. And I think it was because we were all rooting so hard for Nintendo.
Yeah.
They're going to combine a home console and a handheld. How are they actually going to do this? How's it going to go on the TV? What's it going to be? What are the games? Blah, blah, blah. We knew it was going to be Breath of the Wild. We all knew that was going to be a launch game, but it's just not the same. It's not the same thing now. I don't know.
Yeah.
And even the PS5 reveal and stuff like that, it was more just about, okay, but what am I going to play?
Right. Yeah.
What am I going to play on this thing? I don't know. If it's this week, I'll actually be surprised. Now, they could just send out a tweet tomorrow Because that's what they did for the first Switch. Remember, it was Mario from the curtain being like, "Oh, come back tomorrow, and we will have an NX." And it was the other. Just the NX name is so cool. They should have just called.
Oh yeah,
this
we didn't
thing
even
the
know it
NX.
was the Switch until the
reveal.
I kind of want to go back and watch that.
The NX was such a cool. There's been so many cool code names.
The Revolution.
The Neptune for Saturn.
Yeah.
Mars was the Genesis, I think. Like, there's been so many cool names, but NX was awesome. They should have just X like cross switch. Yeah. I don't know. Sean, have you played anything this week? We actually podcasted 2 weeks in a row.
I've been farting around on my
Ass.
quests, my quest, some more.
It is meta.
I know, but I keep thinking, I was like, it's called the meta. I'm like, no, it's called the quest. Last night, included in the Quest Plus, which I have on PSVR 2.
Snap
I think
your
in my
fingers again. Okay. It looked like you were doing your third finger, and I was just like, do I not even know you? Okay, continue.
I think I own it. I think it was like a PS Plus game, or maybe it was just free. I don't know. But I finally picked it up on my Quest. Puzzling Places. It's like a 3D jigsaw puzzle that looks like a Google Maps, like
That was your stomach?
yeah. Or like Apple, whatever one you can like get all up in there and like rotate, like not just Google Maps, but
like Street View? Is that
not
what you're
Street
saying?
View, like satellite, but like 3D, and you can whatever.
Okay.
It looks like they basically take that, but then there's like weird people in there you can tell don't really belong, but it's so like basically, and you've just got like, they show you a few pictures. Like the first one I did, the tutorial is just like a Japanese like storefront, and then the next one I did was some street in Baltimore, I think they said, where there's like this Christmas village set up, and I don't know, but they show you a few pictures of what it looks like, and there's just all these pieces, and you like, once you get them close, they connect together
Like Kinstones in a Minish Cap.
Kinda, yeah. But and then you end up just like basically holding this model of this like thing, and you can like get like all up in there, and the detail is crazy. But it's just a nice like Zen kind of thing. Pretty cool.
I saw a funny reel or something, whatever. Like this guy's wife was like playing VR, but she was in the kitchen and she had the hat on. I think it must have been a Quest. Clearly she was playing a scary game or something. And she's just standing there and she goes, "Ah!" And then she runs forward, wham! Right into the cabinet. And it's just like, oh. It was awesome.
I was doing that in bed last night, and luckily it wasn't a scary game. But like I'm doing this, whatever, and then all of a sudden I like touch something, and I just hear meow. And I'm like, ah! And it was Abby.
Abby's like, what the hell?
I'm just like reaching around trying to grab puzzle pieces, and I hit her. What else? I beat and platinumed and have not yet tweeted about it. Stanley Parable.
Wow, that was quick.
It's a pretty cool game. It's an easy platinum. It's a very interesting game. It's very. Did I tell you what it is?
Yeah, but I forgot.
It's like, it's all first person walking simulator kind of thing. You're in an office. You just kind of wake up, and all of a sudden, like, there's nobody there. And there's like, Stanley noticed that everybody in the office was gone. Where could they have gone?
Yeah, you go with
Stanley
his
decided
choice.
to go to the break room, and then you get to this room. There's two doors. Like, Stanley knew that the way to go to the meeting room was through the left door. Okay. Or you can go through the right door. And then the narrator's like, Stanley decided for some reason to go that way. And there's a lot of different choices like that. It's very meta. One of the trophies was you have to play for the entirety of a Tuesday. So you have to, like, you don't have to.
I've heard about this trophy.
So I had to basically turn the internet off on my PlayStation so it didn't automatically update. Set the date and time to like 11:58 p.m. on a Monday.
And just
get in the game. Yeah. So I did it, and I came back the next day, and I guess because I wasn't moving, it like kicked me out. And I was like, oh, I don't even know how much time did I get a half hour? Did I get 12 hours? Like, I don't know how much time.
You don't have to actually do that, right? Don't you just like set it to 11:59?
No. You have to actually be in the game for 24 hours. So I didn't know how much time I got. The next day, I did not have the trophy. I'm like, oh, okay. So I got back into it. I just started over, went to like 11:58. I did the rubber band on the right stick, just something like spinning around, whatever.
Now your dual sense is broken.
And I'm like,
wow.
Well, here we go again. Like, at least I'll get it this time. 24 hours goes by, about 24 hours, and I check my PS app. It still doesn't show the last trophy is popped. I'm like, has it not been 24 hours? I don't know. I'm like, whatever, I'll try again later. Then I forget about it. Then the next day, which was yesterday, I'm like, oh, crap. Now I've been in the game for like 48 hours. I'm certainly done by now. And it's going to screw up my stupid year-end thing, but whatever.
Oh, that's right.
I check my app. I still don't have the platinum. I'm like, what is good? Like, so I start looking up. I'm like, is the trophy bugged? What am I doing wrong? And then I'm like, I turned the internet off on my PlayStation.
Oh, so
my app doesn't
sync.
know that
Yeah.
I got the. So I went back in. Sure enough, I had it. So I haven't tweeted it out yet. I got a.
So you can't play
best-
this game in less than like 25 hours.
The best ever platinum screenshot. Just looking at a ceiling or a floor. I don't even know what I'm looking at, but so I got that platinum. There's another one that obviously everybody's going to cheat to do. One of the trophies is like play the game and then play it again 10 years later, which obviously everybody's just going to forward the clock. There's another. Some of the trophies are even very meta. It's like the narrator knows that you're trying to get the platinum, and it's a pretty cool thing. I think you should do it.
One playthrough, 28 hours is what the trophy guide says.
Because you have to. Yeah. What else? Yeah, that was it.
Oh, there's a speed run you have to do?
Yeah, it's like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And the only
4:22.
The only difficult thing, I think it's random. Like sometimes you don't start in your office. Sometimes you start like right outside this hallway. So it's like you get kind of a head start. And I think you need that. I think the only way to beat it that quick is to get that head start. So I tried it a couple times and failed. And then I finally looked it up and it's like, well, keep restarting until you see that you started here instead of there, and now
you
go
gotta
for
book
it.
Yeah.
And then I got it. But yeah, easy platinum. It's a fun game. You should play it. Last night, was it last night or Sunday? I think it was Sunday. What is today? Tuesday?
Tuesday.
So it was Sunday.
To me, it was Tuesday.
Funny enough, I fired up
Street
Marvel
Fighter?
vs. Capcom.
Okay.
I played. What did I play?
Children of the Atom.
Yep, that one. I played as Wolverine. I got my butt kicked. I just played singing, not even online.
Yeah,
I won a couple fights and then I started getting my butt kicked. And I was like, all right, I'm done. Then I moved on to Marvel Super. What's it called? Superheroes. Played that for a little bit.
Spider-Man, Captain America.
Oh yeah. So,
You're like,
well, I thought you were going to say what I was going to say. I got my butt kicked in that too. I breezed through the first few fights, and then I fought Spider-Man. I couldn't hit him. And he's like the fourth. I mean, on my playthrough, it was like the fourth of what, 8? I don't know how many people you have to fight.
You know, you can adjust the difficulty.
Man, I figured you probably can. But they're fun. There's a part of me that kind of misses just Street Fighter 2 simplicity. Like, I want to look at my move list and just see down to forward punch, down to back kick, forward, down forward, you know, like that's it. I don't want to
worry
see
about infinity gems and
and like push hard punch and hard kick together and you do this thing, or push all 3 punches together and do this, or push down and forward and medium punch and I'm like, I don't care about all these little tiny moves. Just show me like my projectile, my special moves. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see this whole list of all these things that you consider special moves. It's too overwhelming to me. I think those are the only 2 I played. So I didn't even play any Street Fighter. Like, I never played as any Street Fighter people. But it was fun. It brought back memories. I think I just played the 2 games. But yeah, I think that's all I've played.
I haven't looked at the trophy guide for that. I've had random trophies pop and stuff when I was playing through it. It seems like you get a trophy in each game once you win one fight, and then I think you get another trophy for when you beat the game. But other than that, like I don't know if there's any online trophies, then I've no shot.
I briefly looked, and I don't think there were any. Okay. I mean, I went and nothing popped. I didn't see anything that said like online. The only one I really looked at in detail was Marvel Superheroes, and it was like, start it, beat it,
bop it.
There's one that I got accidentally, and it's like use an Infinity Stone that is the stone that best corresponds with your character or something. I got that one randomly. There's another random one I got, but a lot of them were just like, beat the game, beat so many battles like that. It seems it's probably doable, but it's probably still a lot. Yeah. But I'm guessing if you can do it with the difficulty turned all the way down, it's probably an easy platinum. There was a couple games when I turned the difficulty down, it was still like, oh my god! Like
really, I think it's just because the arcade versions of every fighting game
have to be cheap because they want your money.
Yes, they literally know your people have proved that Street Fighter 2. I think it was one of the versions of Turbo. Like they went into and they know there is a delay from when you do something. The computer's like, I know fireball. Okay, they know what you're doing almost before you're doing it. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
That's all I've played.
I have not played anything.
Okay.
Got a new job, or I didn't really get a new job. What? I got new responsibilities. Okay. I didn't get a new job, so I've been very freaking busy with that. So there's that. But it's time now to begin one of my favorite sections of the year, on one of our favorite episodes of the year. I miss E3. Just saying that's covering E3. Like when we would podcast about E3, it was so much fun. Those were my favorite episodes.
Yeah, this is up there.
It's up there.
I mean, now it's the best, but
Sean.
Yes.
Game of the year time. Well, not game of the year time. Time for our top 10 list. But first, I do have some honorable mentions.
I got to say something.
Yes.
When I was putting together my top 10 list.
Did you get to 10?
Yep. Not a great year. Once I got past my top 3, I was like, oh, that's not going to be number 4. That's not number 4. That's not number 4. That's not. I'm like, wait. Okay, one of these games has, I think it was number 4 where I started that. And I'm like, that's a good game, but that's my 4th favorite game this year. I would be curious, and I don't know if I have it saved anywhere, but I would be curious to look at 23's, my 23 top 10 and my 24 top 10. And be like, give me my top 10 from both years, and I'm curious how many games from this year would make it. My guess is 2.
So mine for last year, going from 10 to 1, Sonic Superstars, Dead Space, Jedi Survivor was number 8. That's how
last
good a year
was
it was.
Crazy.
Super Mario RPG Remake. Spider-Man 2 was last year? Wow. Or not last year, 23.
But yeah.
Okay. Then number 5, Sea of Stars. Number 4, Super Mario Wonder. Number 3, Resident Evil 4 Remake. Number 2, Final Fantasy 16. Number 1, Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
That to me, I really think that is the new now, especially now that we're a little bit removed and stuff. Even 22, Elden Ring, God of War.
It's quite the 1-2 punch.
After that, it wasn't that great. Number 3 was The Last of Us Part 1 for me.
No,
it's a great game, but it's also a 10-year-old game. But yeah.
It was not a good. I remember as the year went on and we got 1,000 Year Door remake. I'm like, wow, that's a nice surprise. Then, hey, here's a new Mario and Luigi game. I'm like, sweet. And all of a sudden I'm like, we thought this year was going to kind of suck. It ended up being pretty good. And then I looked at my top 10 list. I'm like, it wasn't that good. It's kind of top heavy. And then it's a big drop off.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I agree. Before we get into honorable mentions, I liked it better when Colin and the guys did their Game of the Year episode, but now they just do it all on Summon Sign with Brad, and that's fine. But one of the things I liked about it when they used to do it on Sacred Symbols don't know why it's accentuated it like that, but they would make up categories for games. And I always liked that. I thought that was fun. So I made a couple categories. The best game I played this year that came out 11 years ago, and I didn't play it when it came out. Do you know what it is?
Paper-year, 1,000-year door.
Paper-yeared?
Paper-year door.
BioShock Infinite.
Oh.
Played it for the first time. That game is amazing. I wish you would go back to it at some point and finish it. Finish Nocturne first. But I don't know why I avoided it, because I think Colin said something when he was talking about it on a recent episode for some reason, that it felt like when he first started playing it, it just felt like it was just a shooter. It didn't feel like BioShock. And I hadn't played BioShock when I played the demo for this way back on my PS3. But I know something about it didn't feel right. And I'm like, oh yeah, it did feel like it was just another shooter. Like,
I remember when I finally played it, I remember, like, I had never played any of the BioShocks, but I knew they were, or at least the first one was like a big deal, universally loved, whatever. And I always remember the what were they called? The big metal guy. Were they called Little Sisters? Or no,
the little girls were the Little Sisters.
But what was the
Big Daddy?
Big Daddy. I remember like Big Daddy, all that stuff.
Yeah, with the drill. Yeah.
I also remember BioShock Infinite. More just I never played it, but like the graphics, the style, all that. And in my head, I never, despite it being called BioShock Infinite, in my mind, I never associated those things together.
Well, one's underwater, one's in the sky. Yeah.
And so I played BioShock. Great. I played BioShock 2. More BioShock.
I still need to go back.
And then once I played BioShock Infinite, I was like, oh my God, I remember this game. I remember like the art style, the not the post, like the cover art, whatever. Like,
oh yeah, when she's falling.
I remember all that stuff. And despite it saying BioShock right on it, I never associated it with BioShock. It was the weirdest thing ever. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, duh, this is part of that series. But yeah, I'll probably never finish it at this point.
Oh God, it's so good. It's got one of my favorite stories ever in games. It's that good.
Really?
It really is. I think I almost like it better than the first one, although that probably is because Would You Kindly. No one doesn't know about Would You Kindly. Anyone that's around our age. Like, it's spoiled for you before you go in there. Huh?
Just double negative.
Nobody doesn't know. So what am I supposed to say instead?
Everybody knows.
Oh, well, okay. That's right. Everybody knows about Would You Kindly. The twist in this, there's a couple twists. And it was one of those things where I do remember that back then, or some point, I was like, I'm probably never going to play this game. Oh, that's cool. And then I just forgot it. But then as I got more and more into the game, I was like, I think I know what happens. I think I'm remembering it now. And it did turn out to be true, but I was like, this is still so freaking cool. And just a mind F. It's so cool. Also, the best game I played that came out 20 years ago was Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga.
20 years. That's crazy.
I didn't get too inventive with my categories. I thought I had more categories, but as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, well.
The best game I played that came out 7 years ago.
All right. You got honorable mentions?
It's basically every game that I played this year that didn't make my top 10.
Yeah, so I've got...
Well, that's not true. There's one that I've already noticed I forgot, but whatever.
Balatro.
That's the one.
It's fine. It's not... The fact that it was nominated for Game of the Year, it's a little much.
They do it every year. It's like, we had to pick one of the indies. Balatro.
It's a fine game. I don't care if I never play it again. If you love it and you think it's your Game of the Year, cool. Not for me. Tribreaker, I still haven't gone back to finish it. I'm not going to mention that to Colin if we do get him on for the third time this year. It's just, I know it's not selling well, but it's not selling well because you made another friggin' brick breaker. Or people think it's just a brick breaker because that's what the other one was. How do you tell people that there's other old school types of levels? I don't know. So that was good. Lords of Exile did not make my top 10.
I looked into that. I didn't think that came out this year.
Yeah. I looked at my trophy list. It came out this year.
You played it this year, but I don't think it came out this year. Because I was going to put it. I mean, I was going to at least consider it. I don't know where it would have ended up.
No, I thought it came out this year. John Tingley.
Maybe it came out on PlayStation this year.
You're thinking of the other one. You're thinking of Infernax.
I looked this up earlier.
All you got to do is type in Lords of Exile release date. Or Wiki. Zach and Wiki. Do you know how to spell Exile?
Oh, right there. Initial release date, May 2023. I knew I saw it somewhere. But maybe that was like on
Switch
Steam or something. But
Well,
I mean, it would have been it probably
best game I played that came out in
It wouldn't have
2023,
made-
Lords of Exile. Two of these, I have two collections that didn't make it, even though I love Castlevania the Dominus collection. Those three games are awesome. I definitely like Portrait of Ruin the best out of them. Dawn of Sorrow probably would have been the best if they didn't have the stupid drawing shit. Order of Ecclesia was really good. I liked it the more I went into it. The overworld map and stuff was kind of weird, but those games were awesome. And then Marvel vs. Capcom collection is, I wrote here, I had so much fun with it so far. I'm going to keep playing it, but second best fighting game collection that there is out there, in my mind.
yeah.
Street Fighter 30th anniversary is obviously the best.
Cyberpunk Rob's up and I'm with that.
And this one I thought originally was going to make my top 10, but I couldn't squeeze it in. Tales of Kenzera Zao. Colin said he liked this better than Prince of Persia, and I was like, really?
I mean, okay.
That's fine,
Yeah.
but I don't. And maybe it's just because I played it like a month after Prince of Persia came out, and it was like, I feel like I'm playing the exact same Metroidvania.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you have, Sean, for honorable mentions?
I too have Marvel vs. Capcom. I know this is our podcast. We make the rules. That was a Taylor Swift reference.
How the hell am I supposed to know I make the rules is Taylor Swift reference?
I wouldn't expect you to.
Okay.
I'm just saying I said it for a reason.
So
but
no one
anyways.
would get it. That was the reason.
I didn't purposefully not include it, and I also didn't.
I did.
I don't know. I just kind of mentally on my own devices knocked it down a couple of pegs. 1,000 Year Door didn't make my list, even though it's one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
I'm also like, we already have a George.
I
loved playing it again.
I put it on my list just because
Yeah, I didn't
it's
like
new
disqualify
to me.
it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that you probably had a different experience with it. Silent Hill, I think once I beat it, it would probably have made my top 10 list. And it might end up being pretty high if it's as good as people say. But I'm not there yet. Asgard.
Oh yeah.
I can't think of what it's actually called.
Wrath.
Wrath.
Asgard's
I mean,
Wrath.
all I wrote was Asgard.
All I wrote was. Did you realize you said that? All I wrote was.
I did what you do, where I tried to just keep going.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you didn't notice.
Everybody noticed.
Yeah. Asgard's Wrath.
Two.
Two. It's fun. The actual like gameplay when you're like walking around and like fighting, it's fun, but I still don't think I understand. Like I don't know. I thought when the game started, you like go through this portal and you're like in, I guess, like ancient Egypt. I'm like, okay, so am I going to do like an Egypt area, and then I'm going to do like a Greek area, and then I'm going to do this area and then that area. But I just keep going back. Like I'm like, maybe the whole game is in Egypt. I don't really know. I don't
why
understand.
Is it called Asgard's Wrath?
Well, I don't know.
That was two different voices.
So I feel like I just don't understand the overall game mechanic. But when I'm just playing it, it's fun. Boop, 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 boop. Last but not least, these are in no order, by the way.
Yeah.
Last one to mention, Brothership.
I know.
Didn't make it. But yeah. That's all.
All right. Now our top 10 games, 2024. Now again, remember, not the best games of the year. Our favorite games of the year. You're entitled to your own opinion. If you don't agree, I don't care. Sure, just the angle I'm at is making me look fat. Feeling a little fat and fatty. I'll start. Number 10 for me. What?
What did I say before?
Was, but you said was. Yeah, and I was gonna do this. Just like a Daffy Duck over here. Thuffer and Thuckatash. Oh no, that's Sylvester.
Oh yeah.
Sylvester and Daffy Duck talk the same. I just realizing this. They're both WB, I think, right?
Oh God.
Yeah, I think so. Looney Tunes. All right, number 10 for me. I think this is the first time it's happened since we've been doing this podcast now in our 10th year. I almost think it might be our 11th year. I can never, those numbers are always confusing.
We just said our 10-year
10-year anniversary, but I know, we podcast in 15 and 16, so it is our 11th. We're into our 11th year. It doesn't matter. Anyways, I don't think I've ever done this in any of our top 10 lists. Number 10 for me is a sports game, and I had to get it in there. I don't care what it was going to beat out. It had to make my list. College football 25.
I'm shocked it's only 10.
It's still, at the end of the day, it's a football game. Like, it's not, I'm not going to huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to say it's like my game of the year. Is it the game I spent the most time with? Yes. By the way, I hate that I just did that. It is one of the easiest tropes and I notice it so much now in talking head sports shows and probably in everything, is when people ask themselves a question and then they answer it. Am I happy that he got injured? No. Is it good that my team won the game anyways because he was injured? Yes. Like,
there's the Seinfeld episode.
Huh?
Beth and Artie or whatever. And
the baby?
Elaine was talking about the couple that Jerry and Elaine wanted to break up because they each wanted to date him.
And
lady Elaine's
from
talking
show,
about how it's Carrie Elways. It's like,
and Deborah
he's always asking.
Yeah.
He's always asking himself questions and then answering them. Am I happy we broke up? No. Go ahead.
Anyways, I don't know what I was going to say. It's just the most. I think it's the most fun I've had playing a sports game since my PS2. So we're talking over 20 years. The last time I can remember having this much fun was MVP Baseball 2003 or 2004. Both those games were awesome. After World Series 98, which I need to just buy that so we can play it and see if it really is still our favorite baseball game.
I bet it would
made.
be for me.
Yeah.
Other than like Mario Baseball.
Yeah, I love that. I love those games so much, and I really think that I did have a stretch. If you go look in my closet downstairs where so many of my PS4 games are, I think I had for PS4, I think I had Madden 14, 15, 16, 17. Then I took a year off and I had 19, 20. I had 4 or 5 years in a row when I had Madden. But this was just the best. It was just, it's obviously it's mostly because it was gone for 12, 13 years. But it played so well. It felt different to play than Madden. It felt like college football. The playbooks are so different. I love that they had, and it makes such a difference, but just being able to have the actual players in there with their actual names instead of QB3 playing at Texas, throwing it to WR7. It's like, no, that's Quinn Ewers and that's Isaiah Bond. We know who they are. I'm glad they get paid for it now. They get paid $600. That's going to have to change next year with as much money. The most dollars sold sports game ever in the U.S. They need a better NIL deal next year. But it's just such a phenomenal game. I put 75 hours into it last year, from my Texas dynasty to creating a Geneseo team, because I went to a college that was a Division III school and we didn't even have a football team. So I had to create a football team. Everything with it was so much fun. College football 25, number 10 for me.
Okay. My number 10, one that I honestly haven't played a whole lot of, but I've played enough to know it's pretty fun. Arkham Shadow.
Oh.
So in the beginning, you're just in the sewers. And I was starting to worry. I'm like, is this what this game is? Because when you're in the sewer, like everything looks the same, and I'm just like, I always have to look. It's like, go here. I'm like, well, I got to look at a map because I don't know what that room is. Like, I don't know, but it's still fun. Like you're Batman. It's fun to just like fight people. I mean, it feels like an Arkham game, but in VR, it feels like exactly what you would think it would be.
Do you actually walk around in this and
Yeah.
you don't like teleport like you did in the what was the original one called on PSVR 1?
Oh,
Was it just Arkham VR? Where really it's just you putting on the suit and then like investigating.
yeah, I don't know
Jason
what
Todd
that
dying
game was
or
like.
something.
But no, this is an actual
Okay.
action game. But then now I got out of the sewer and now I'm like out, and I'm like, I haven't played it much since then, but I'm like, okay, thank you. This is all I wanted. I wanted to just not be a whole game that we're just walking around the sewers. So I'm like, okay, this does seem like it's more of a, legit game. It's kind of, I mean, as were the other ones, I guess. It's kind of Metroidvania-y. You're going back and forth. It just seems like a lot of fun, and I feel like it's despite last week me saying all the I expect you to die games are like the best use of VR.
Oh yeah.
This is very like, it's really hard to explain, but it feels like Batman. The same way like when you play Spider-Man or Batman games, and it's so like fluid and poof, 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 and you're like flying all over it. That's like kind of how this is, and like you'll get like little icons on the side of your thing, like if you're about to get hit, and you don't even have to look, you just and he like blocks it, and then
that's
it's
awesome.
just, I don't know, it's just, you're Batman, and it's
So is
the
it
coolest
kind of
thing.
like the Arkham combat style, but pulled into first person VR?
And yeah,
Jeez.
but I mean dumbed down quite a bit. It's
Okay.
like you just swing. There's no like buttons or like
Okay.
weird, no, like sometimes he kick, but obviously you don't kick. It's all literally just
Sega activated.
right. And you can, but I mean, you have like your like X-ray, your different goggles and stuff.
Detective
You can
vision and
throw
stuff,
like
yeah.
the batarangs to like activate switches. You can do your little grappling hook, and you got all the bells and whistles and stuff. But it's a lot of fun. Definitely going to beat it, but have not yet. So, number 10, Arkham Shadow.
I like it. I like it a lot. I would like it better if it was on PSVR too, but it never will be. Number 9 for me, a game about metal and food.
And Gears. That's where I thought you were going, but there was no Metal Gear game.
No, but there was Iron Meat.
I know.
Oh, well then, damn it. I thought he was going to be like, I was going to be like, try to guess what it is, Sean. This is the most...
Did you get that platinum?
Not yet.
You should.
I want to.
Yeah.
This is the most Contra-ass game that has ever tried to Contra, but wasn't Contra. Like, everything about this game...
We should do a.
We need to do a Let's Play.
We haven't done any Let's Plays in a while.
I've got
be
that
a
on my
fun one
goals.
to
We
do.
need to do more Let's Plays this
Yeah.
year. But that would be fun to play through. Yeah, I'd be down for it. It's just like... It's not 16-bit, but it's kind of
like 16 plus.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like third. It's probably this probably would have worked on Saturn, maybe, and
32X.
PlayStation and stuff. Oh, for sure, the 32X. You've seen Knuckles Chaotix? That was awesome. Calibri, but it's just such a fun, awesome Contra game. It's like, it's. I like that you just get. If you play it on easy, you get 30 guys. If you play it on normal, you get 20 or 15, and then hard is 10, whatever. So, and then the difficulty does ramp up also, but it's nice that you don't just have 3 guys and you start back at the beginning,
Yeah.
It's just so much fun. Everything about it, like, again, Colin, Vampire Survivors, Castlevania, dude. These dudes like do the Contra jump from Contra 1. When you jump and spin, it's like the exact same everything. I love it. I love the weapons in it. I love the power ups. I love the story is so stupid, but I love that like these alien things are like coming over and like they are taking over Iron, and they're like you're fighting like a friggin' house, but it's not like Final Fantasy VII when you're fighting a house in like a bullfighting arena or whatever. This is like a house that has been overtaken by an alien and is trying to eat you by meat, and it's fantastic. It is such a great game. It's sad that like I wouldn't have even known this game existed if I didn't hear Colin and Jaffe talking about it. And you wouldn't have either because I wouldn't have told you about it. It just sucks that there's so many cool games like this that just...
Yeah.
But number 9 for me, Iron Meat.
Nice. My number 9 is Castlevania. Or Cattlevania. As I wrote it. Dominus.
See, I kind of did what you did, but I did it for that one.
So, what's funny is I'm looking through all of my honorable mentions and my first 2 games on my top 10, other than Thousand Year Door, which is an old game, so I don't count it. I haven't beaten any of these games. I mean, I've beaten parts of Castlevania Dominus, but I haven't beaten the whole thing. And now I'm so far removed. I'm in the one where you go to all the little different mini worlds.
Yeah, that's Ecclesia.
No. Portrait.
Oh, Portrait. When you go into the... Okay. Yeah.
So I'm in the bonus
extra mode.
run. Yeah, where you just have to go through the game and beat it. But even if I played it right after, I would have been so confused. I'm like, I'm not going to remember where to go. I don't want to have to explore everywhere. I just want to take the easiest route and just blast through it.
But I mean, with the character you're playing as, you pretty much can.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny to see him running so fast instead of like... you know.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I never shy away from any Metroidvanias, so I mean, a collection of 3 good ones is fantastic. I want to get the platinum. I still want to. I mean, I have to beat it first, so I need to finish the bonus mode of Portrait, and then I've got Ecclesia. The whole thing, normal.
Oh, I thought you beat all 3 of them. You just didn't do the extra mode.
No, I beat it
3.
and then did the extra mode, and then I beat it.
Okay.
Now I'm doing the extra mode, and then I have to beat it and do the extra mode. But it's been so long since I played that, like, at least I took a long break in the extra mode. Yeah, where it's not, where I can kind of just do whatever I want anyway. But both the first 2 games, I mean, they're not... If I tried to rank my all-time favorite Metroidvanias, it's like Symphony and Hollow Knight and Bloodstained, somewhere like 1A, B, and C. Episode. Well, okay, fair enough. But that's like 1A, 1B, 1C.
Yeah.
In some order.
A, 1C.
And then I feel like almost every other Metroidvania I've played is going to be like 2A through 2Z. Like... Even the worst Metroidvania, like, I always have fun playing these games. Yeah. Time Spinners, or like Monster Boy, or Chasm, or any of these Castlevania games. Like, they're all just... Like, you can't screw that genre up, I don't think. So, they're all... The 2 that I've played, both very solid games. I'm sure the third one is too. But I've definitely enjoyed it, and these are games that I've been missing out on for a very long time.
Tingley says he let us know in the Discord months ago. And he probably did. And now that he says that, I do kind of remember that.
I was talking to Ash.
Oh, yeah. Ash was saying something about it, too. Yeah.
So I tried finding it on Twitter, and I couldn't find it.
I have no feelings anymore. That's awesome.
He told me about some game that was very much like Contra a while ago, and then I couldn't find the tweet. And I asked him about it. I'm like, is this the game that you told me about a long time ago? He's like, yeah, I think so. So we had our opportunities, and we just missed it.
My bad.
But, yeah.
Number 8 for me, Plucky Squire.
All right, timeout. I'm going to throw a challenge. Not a challenge flag. I'm going to call an audible.
Did this not come out this year? What do you challenge me?
Okay. Just hang on. My number 8 is Iron Meat.
Okay.
So we just talked about it. I share all your feelings. Great game.
Oh, whatever. So this is your number 7.
Plucky Squire is my number 7. So I don't want to keep being one off from you. So like you did Iron Meat, and then I did something else, and then you did Plucky Squire. And now I'm doing Iron Meat, and then you're gonna do something else, and then I'm gonna do So I want to go ahead and catch up.
I thought you were
8
like,
was Iron Meat.
This game came out in 2022 or something.
So your 8 is Plucky Squire.
My 8 is Plucky Squire.
Okay, and my 7 is Plucky Squire.
This game was so joyful. Like, I love it. Is such an awesome
And
idea.
triumphant.
Nope, not even close. It's such a perfect idea for a game.
I think it's the perfect idea. I think it was the concept. I think was done really well. I think the game could have been more fun.
Yeah.
It got a little repetitive, and it never really got that difficult.
It was very easy, yes.
Yeah.
Until you got to some of those weird boss fights at the end where the stuff was falling. It was kind of like a Puyo Puyo thing or something.
Oh, yeah. This game, I mean, ever since I first heard of it, when I thought it was like an Xbox exclusive, I was like, well, crap, because I really want to play that. In my mind, it was like Zelda, where you go in and out of a book and around a desk and then back into the book. But it's Zelda. Hey, this is a Zelda game. Zelda. And it wasn't really. There weren't really dungeon. Like, if we get a Plucky Squire 2, I think it's going to be amazing. It was still a fun game. It was more or less everything I expected it to be. I feel like they could have done more, though.
Yeah. And hopefully, if we do get a sequel, that they've made enough money off this that they can expand it and give us more dungeons and stuff like that. But it's like, the writing was great. I love the narrator throughout it. The different, talk about different gameplay styles, like in Tribreaker and stuff. This, like, you've got the real world, which looks really good. And that even just the opening, the first time you boot up the game or the first time you play the story, and it looks like it's a Toy Story movie. It looks so good. But then you get into the 2D art is great. The different puzzles. I love that you're just in a book and then you get the power-ups where you can manipulate the book and you can turn back pages and you can do this and you can move stuff. There's like, you get side-scrolling parts like Link Between Worlds. At one point I was like, oh my God, I'm playing Resogun. This is hilarious and freaking awesome. Like, I did not expect that. That goes to your point of it's a lot more than just a Zelda game. It's just such a really fun, joyful, and triumphant game that I absolutely loved. As I'm thinking back, this was a freaking this was a free game.
Almost fell over.
I know. This was a PS Plus game, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I almost want to just buy it on Switch or something, just so they get my money. But great game. I don't know what else to say, but it's just fantastic. Let me see. Is there anything I didn't say?
You got the platinum, right?
I got the platinum. Yeah. I had to play it twice to get it because I screwed up and I didn't farm.
I
coins.
almost did. I was barely able to save it at the end.
Yes. The only downside is that it is extremely easy.
Yeah.
But I like in some of the boss fights, like you're doing like a punch out boss fight.
The boss fights were fun.
Yeah, and then you're like shooting the arrows and stuff. That one guy and there's stuff flying in. It was for as many different ideas as it had. As I think back on it, they pulled it off and pulled it together pretty damn well, I must say.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 7 is not your 7 or your 6. I know that.
No.
Why? Oh, because it's something I didn't play, and this is something you already talked about, and that would be Mario and Luigi Brothership. So I gotta say, this game, Sean hates it, and that's fine because you can like what you like and don't what you don't.
Don't what you don't.
I forget on my Nintendo wrap-up thing how many hours I put in this, but I think it was around 50 hours.
I think it was, yeah.
It never got to the point where it was obvious. I mean, I've got it at number 7. It's not like it was Game of the Year or anything like that, but every time it got to the point where where you were at, where I was like, oh my God, this is just taking forever. This is kind of getting boring, whatever. I don't want to do any side quests. I want to get this going. And, it got better. I would get more power-ups. I'd get more brother moves. I would get to another ocean. Something funny would happen on the island. Characters that I love would pop up out of nowhere, and then you'd have new enemies and new allies. And it was just really, I thought it was really well done. The biggest downside I would say is the actual, just your regular attacks never change.
Yeah.
Like, you get your hammer, you upgrade your hammer, you get a more powerful hammer, you get more powerful boots. You don't do anything differently. It's just, you just do more damage. You've got your double moves. I like all that stuff, but I just think like all that stuff was done better in Thousand Year Door. All that being said, I had a lot of fun with this game, and I don't think it met my expectations. It is kind of weird looking back that I did put 50 hours into this.
Yeah.
But I really like the story as much as you can like a story in a Mario RPG game. Like, I thought it was really well done. I like the concept of the Mario and Luigi with the power up, with the, you know, the brother moves and all this stuff. I like how the brother moves, you get a move, but then also later on in the game, that brother move does something different in the open world. Like it gets a second, like your power up gets a power up kind of a thing. And it's really cool. I love the art style. I thought it was great. It is this poor Switch though, man, this game chugs. This game can not even maintain 30 frames. And I'm like, come on, Switch 2. Bye. We know it's coming hopefully this week. Some of the music in this was fantastic. I had a lot of fun. I even had fun. I never thought I would have done this, but like that couple of the boss fights when you get to the side quest where you're refighting the bosses in a harder version, and I would spend like 40 minutes and then die. I didn't love that, but I loved that I then went back and I fought the same boss for like 40 minutes and I finally got him. And I'm like, yeah, this is like beating the ultimate weapon or something in Final Fantasy. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's something like that. I like the level ups and everything. It was a really good game, I would say.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, but I liked it enough to put 50 hours into it. Mario and Luigi Brothership. Really good.
Okay. My number 6. Tales of Kinzera.
Okay.
It was kind of strange playing this, I think, a few weeks after.
It literally was, yeah.
It was not long after
Prince of Persia?
That's the one.
I was going to let you hang out there and just keep dancing, but I was like, I don't want to watch this.
Very similar. And honestly, when I try to think back to them, I start wondering which game I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
They kind of blend together. There were some very frustrating parts in this. Some of the platforming areas where you have to kind of go around this whole thing and you're floating down and you jump and the platforms are disappearing and you got to dodge this and dodge. Like, there were some very tough, I mean, almost not quite to the same level, but almost Hollow Knight-ish areas that I was just ready to throw my controller. But still a very fun game. I like that they kind of blended there's, at least in my head, there's this whole age-old debate of, you know, should Metroidvanias be melee, should they be shooters? And this kind of did
good point.
both. And different enemies, you know, you have different fighting styles to use on the different enemies and stuff. I just thought it was very cool. I feel like I don't remember even hearing about this game until it was just out. I don't know if I just missed it or didn't realize what it was, but then all of a sudden it was just out and I'm like, this looks really cool. I mean, I think you told me about it, but yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this is, I mean, I've already talked about Metroidvanias. I'm pretty much never going to pass one up. Really a good game. I don't remember who made this. It's still kind of an indie game, but it felt more AAA-ish, similar to Prince of Persia again. I hope it did well enough to maybe give us a Tales of Kinzera Mao someday. Give us a sequel. Make it. I don't know.
No, it didn't. Well, I don't. Not that it didn't do well enough, but he is working on another game. But it's not a sequel to this.
Really?
I know Collins brought that up because Collins interviewed him about all the whatever that still don't even understand that drama, but whatever. But he's working on another game and he's trying to sell it. So I don't know if it'll be another EA original like this one was or what.
Yeah. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I think I got the platinum. That's why I was doing all those frustrating platforming sections, but yeah. Number 6, Tales of Kinzera.
Okay. and then put him to bed at 9:15. This is how I parent text messages. Number 6 for me. Game that came out this year. But it also came out 22 years ago. I think. I just might have made that up. Was it 2002? I think it was. Paper Mario, The 1,000-Year Door. This is the best Mario-based RPG I've ever played. Now, I've only played like 4 of them so far. But it's freaking perfect. This game, I love the art style. It was such a good idea. I like that, you know, it did the whole extra attacks with the button like Super Mario RPG did, and then the Mario and Luigi games have done. I love that it's not just you and Luigi. I don't even remember if Luigi's in this. Oh no, he's like going around the world doing something else. Yeah, he's a dumbass, freaking Luigi. But I love that, like, you get all the different characters. You get the Goomba girl, which, and now it's been 6 months since I played it. Now I'm not going to remember anybody's names.
Goombella.
You get Goombella, who's awesome, and you get the turtle guy, and then you know Coops because he's got the poops, and then you got like you're fighting like some of the bosses and some of the characters designs in this. Like I even think back to the first boss, that dragon thing. It was like, this is so friggin' cool.
Hooktail.
Yeah, Hooktail. What the how the hell? Jeez. I like there was some puzzle elements. I loved when I was like, oh, that's how you get around. This is cool. Like I think I knew about the paper airplane because I think that was in the trailers.
Yeah.
But there's the paper airplane. There was the paper boat. There was you can go
turn
sideways and go through the
rolling thing.
Yeah. I love the battle style. I loved everything about it. I love that like it doesn't take itself too seriously. Like I remember early on in the game I got to the thwomp, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you in Jeopardy, and he's like asking you trivia questions about the towns you've been to so far and stuff.
Yeah.
I like the whole Dark Mario, Shadow Mario, Link kind of thing that happens. There's so many good things in this, and it's so funny that like I'm still not a turn-based RPG guy. It has to be.
You're getting there.
I've walked away from Final Fantasy VI twice now.
So have I. I mean, and I am a guy.
I am a guy.
I am a turn-based guy, and that's one of the best ones ever, supposedly. And I even haven't been able to play all the way through it. So,
and each little world has different people that you got to help, and then those not people, but characters that you got to help, and they end up helping you throughout it. The X-Nauts were such a stupid villain, but they were so funny. Then you got Peach, who's the computer's falling in love with her, and he's going to self-destruct and all this stuff. I don't care about spoiling a 22-year-old game. It was really weird, and he's like watching her when she goes to get changed and stuff, and then she drinks a potion and she's invisible, but she takes off her dress, and I was like, dude, why are you telling her to do this? I get it. The dress isn't going to be invisible. It's just going to be her is going to be invisible because she drank the potion, but I think the computer was kind of a pervert, I guess is what I'm getting at. I love Bowser's involvement in this. I love there's just it lived up to the hype for me that I've been hearing about from you for a while and from really everybody. This game is it's so freaking good. I love Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door. I don't care that it's a 22-year-old game. It's new to me, damn it. It's number 6 for me. Fantastic.
Cool. Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
Meow.
All right. Change things up a little bit.
Now, I think we're going to get into some summer Terry.
Summer Terry?
Similar Terry.
I don't think... I can't imagine that was number 6 for you?
Yes.
I feel like we might have the same top 5.
We have the
same
different
5
order games,
yeah.
But yeah.
Number 5 for me, it's right around where I thought it would end up. Animal Well.
Number 5 for me, Animal Well. We might have the same top 5. That would be hilarious.
This game, again, one of many Metroidvanias on my list. It's hard to do truly new things, I feel like, in video games. And this game, for as simple as it was, did a lot of new stuff. Like, it's a Metroidvania, but you can't attack.
You can't attack.
There's enemies. You can die, but you don't attack. It's just like a Metroidvania puzzle game, but then there's
bubbles.
So many like layers to it. And I mean, I got the platinum, and I feel like I had to do a lot, and some of the,
and you haven't even scratched the surface. Right?
Yeah, when I looked up this video that showed all these puzzles that you don't even need to solve, and you don't really get like, the game was created almost to be impossible for anybody to figure it out on their own. And it's like the whole community, without being told to do so, kind of just came together and like figured it all out. And all these people solved all these weird little mini puzzles that unlock this new thing, that unlocks this new thing, and unlocks that new thing. And I just knew it was like, it was insane how deep this Animal Well was.
Wow.
But just like the overall, just the atmosphere, I don't know. There's not many times, like every other game. I mean, Plucky Squire, yeah, that did some new stuff, but it was a different setting for stuff that has kind of been, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Animal Well, I feel like, is the only game on here that is truly, on my list, maybe yours, different from anything we've ever seen before. I don't think we'll get an Animal Well 2. I think this is a one and done. It stands on its own. I feel like it will stand the test of time. Just a very fun game. And I didn't get it at first. When I started playing, I'm like, I don't know that I like it. Took a while before I was like, I'm never going to attack in this game, am I? And then once that clicked and I finally realized what the game was trying to be, and I just kind of accepted it, I think I liked it a lot more. But it did not click with me at first. But such a good game. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I love it. It's and as I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking back to some of the things I heard other people say, and I'm thinking about how this game is just so well crafted that, like, I remember somebody I heard on a podcast was saying that, like, the last power up they got was the bubble wand. It was my first. I think it was your first too. But he still got through the game by using the other things, by using the disc, by using the slinky, by using whatever. And it's like the fact that he was able to get through the game to right at the end before he got the wand is like, holy crap. Like, how did you even
design the game in a way that...
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you've got everything's. I was going to say there's so many cool puzzles, but the whole thing is a puzzle. But like I remember, like the first time I realized, like, there's a fish head there, and you throw a bubble at it, and it's like, oh, and I'm like, ooh, and I can jump in there, and it's like, whoa, okay, wait, where did I get? Okay, okay. And just like, this is one of the obtuseness in a game isn't necessarily a bad thing. This game is just obtuse. It's just go, and you just experiment, and you go, well, I'm going to go this way, and okay, well, I can't make that jump yet, okay, and I've got this, like, okay, there's like matches and candles and stuff, so okay, now one of the things I did like is when you did solve a puzzle or when you did something in the world, if you died, it stayed the way it was. Yeah. So like there was sometimes when it's like you got to get, there's like these enemies are chasing you, and you got to get here and make these perfect jumps to get over here, and then you got to make the water go like this and this, and like, okay, cool. And once you got it, it's so nice that like they could have made this the hardest game ever if when you died everything reset. Yeah, and that would be annoying. That would have just I probably wouldn't have beaten the game. But I'm going back and looking at some of my notes that I took while playing this, and I wrote two of my favorite notes are holy shit giant bat. If you played it, you know. Yep. Holy shit giant kangaroo. Yep. Holy shit penguin. Holy shit, crazy floating ghost thing, and it shoots lasers.
So that was one thing I just remembered. I guess, final boss, the first time, and I think you had the same experience, the first time that thing showed up, it scared the crap out of me. And it was just this
I was throwing
weird,
dynamite, and so I was like, what the hell? What is happening?
Like, for the most part, the enemies are just like animals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember when that thing showed up, and like the music changed, and there's just all these weird. I had to pause it. I'm like, my heart was racing. I don't know why it had that effect on me, but when that thing first showed up, I'm like, hold up. I just like paused and I was like,
it was like unsettling.
Okay. Very. And
Yeah.
I kind of want to go back and just like look at it on YouTube and see if it triggers anything in me. But yeah, it was such a weird sensation. I don't know. It was very strange that a game like this all of a sudden like just freaked me out the way it did. But yeah,
I love it. It's like you said, there's not a lot of games that do something completely new, and I feel like this did. And it is one I would like to go get the platinum, but if I do it, 100% it'll be with a guide. It just will.
oh yeah,
Because
the eggs you have to find. Some of them like,
Oh, yeah,
how
that's
would
right.
anybody ever find this?
Right. But yeah, Animal Well is fantastic. Shout out to Dunkey for publishing it. It's just an awesome game.
Yep.
Okay, so that was my number 5. You went 5. I said it's also my 5. So now you're number 4.
My number 4 is Prince of Persia.
Number 4 for me, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. The Lost Crown.
It was your favorite game?
It was. It really was. This game, like, first off, one of the things I felt playing this game was like, if they were ever to make Immortals: Phoenix Rising into a 2D Metroidvania, this is what it would have been. I think that it had a really great art style. There's some stuff like when you're going. Remember when you first see the wave and everything's like frozen in time? Was that this game or was that something else? Down in like the bottom right of the map.
That was this.
That was this, I think. And the ship.
I think that was this one. Yeah.
But whatever, that just popped in my head. But it's like the combat is so good. The 2.5D art, I think, is really well done. The story was cool. I didn't know who was going to be good and who was going to be bad and everything. And then you get to the end. That sounded like you take them both, and then you have Effects Life. But it sets up perfectly for a sequel, which sucks because we're not going to get it. Like this game, I was looking forward to, but then when the reviews came out and it was like a Metacritic 86, 87, I was like, holy shit, what? The Facts of Life?
And who was good and who was bad, and then
Take
you
them
get
both, and
to
then,
the
end. Like it wasn't too difficult. It wasn't too easy. You can parry in it. Like I said, the combat was great. You get the different amulets, so you can choose the way you want to play, and you can equip different amulets to do different things if you want to be more offensive or defensive or whatever. You can do the fast travel, do all that stuff. I don't know what. Still?
Pay attention to me.
Don't pay any attention to the man on the other side of the table. The time travel stuff is really cool. The boss fights are awesome. It was a great Metroidvania, and the environments were fantastic. It was a solid platinum. Oh, that's what I'm over here just like, okay, I know I'm going to say these things, but what did I forget? Okay. Holy shit, some of these platforming challenges. And when I finally cleared the impossible climb, which is very aptly named, and I was like, I'm going to keep the amount of times that I hit record on my PlayStation, and we're like, okay, I'm going to do it this time, and I'm going to make a video out of it. And then I would have to go, son of a bitch, and start over again. But like when I finally got it, and it almost got to the point where I was like, I guess I'm not going to get the platinum. I need to just beat it and be done because I don't think I can do this. That was by far the hardest one. But there are some others where you're like, you do the jump and then you dash and you got to make this wall appear and then disappear as you're jumping. And then this one appears and then you do it over here. Like the platforming challenges were so much fun. I I really, really loved this game. And for a while, I was like, this is going to be either game of the year. Well, I knew it wasn't going to be game of the year. I was like, this is right now for a while. I remember saying for like the first half of the year, I was like, this is my number 2 game of the year.
Yeah.
And it's not just because we think it was a weak year or anything. This game was just really that good. Ends up at number 4, but man, I do want to go back and he's got the weapon that's basically like the Blades of Chaos. I do want to go back and also get the Platinum on PS4. And that's just a good excuse to play through it again. Now, I had started going through it, and I was just playing it on super easy or whatever to just try to get through it as quick as I could. But now that I've forgotten a lot about it because it came out a year ago, it might be good when I get a break to play this again. But what do you think, Prince?
I could see going back and playing it again for another Platinum. The part with the shipwreck thing in the ocean was crazy. That was like, when I first got there, I was just like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in a game. Very well done. I had kind of forgotten, but it all started coming back to me, how difficult some of the platforming in this game was. Most of it was, tough but fair. None of it really felt, cheap or just like... That's one thing with Kenzera. I think some of those sections, I was just like, this is stupid. Like, this is just difficult for difficult.
I remember,
sake.
like, at one point, like, a black cloud is chasing you, and it's not clear once you drop down, you escape from here, and then you drop down, it's still chasing you. You can either go left or right, but if you choose the wrong way, it's instant death, and you're stuck. And it's like, okay, that's not cool.
Right. This was like, every time you're trying to get through an area, you're probably going to learn a little bit more, and you just kind of, you die, but you kind of just develop that muscle memory, and before you know it, you're like, and you're like, I don't even know how I'm doing this, but like, and that's the other thing. Second maybe to only Hollow Knight. This game just had like pristine just controls. Just it felt so responsive, and everything you wanted him to do, he did. There was never any like, when I think back to like Celeste and all the times I wanted her to do this and she did this,
I was just thinking
or
Celeste,
like it's just everything was very responsive and fluid, and just it worked perfect. Definitely one of the better. This is a game that like it took me maybe 30 seconds, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a banger. Like, I knew as soon as I started it was going to be fantastic, and it was. It's nice, even though it's been killed now. It was nice to see, other than Metroid, like a AAA Metroidvania, because
instead of just indies. Nothing wrong with indies,
right,
but it's nice to actually see a big
and
budget,
it had a totally different
into
feel. Like it was beautiful, and I mean, indie Metroidvanias are usually some of my favorite games, but like this was just so well done. I hate Ubisoft for just being like, yeah, we're done with that. We're not going to do it anymore, just like they did with Immortals. I don't know. I don't know if people are just stupid and don't know good games when they're right in front of their face. Wish it sold more. Wish whatever it would take for Ubisoft to be like, oh, people really like that, we should make another one. But not going to happen. But we'll always have this one. That was my number 4.
Fantastic game. If you haven't played it for some reason, play it. It's great. So that was your number 4. It's my number 4. Now your number 3.
My number 3. I'm wondering if this is where we diverge.
I was going to say depart because I want to say departed.
The Departed. Number 3. Astrobot.
We diverge.
Okay. Number 3, Astrobot. This is a game that it's like it didn't really break any new ground. It's a very solid platformer, but it just does every little thing correct. Like, spare no expense. Spare no expense. You can tell these guys really care about video games, really care about PlayStation, whether it's all the different cameos, all the little the cameos and the winks and nods to things, like, so well done. They, the capabilities of the DualSense was like one of the big things about the PS5 launch, and I feel like other than these two Astrobot games, nobody's really used them to their full extent, and they're not necessary. It's a nice little gimmick, but like when it's done well, it's such a cool, like I can remember, this is not this game, but the first game, just like feeling like the raindrops in the controller. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, that is really cool. And like this game probably did that, but I think they did other stuff too. But there's so many things that it's just like all these things that if they didn't do it, it probably would have gone unnoticed. Nobody probably would have been upset that these little things weren't done, but they did them all. And I feel like this just shows how much they just care about the medium. Like, and it's just fun, and it's beautiful for what at its core is a pretty basic game. It's still just beautiful. I remember the first time, you get to the part where you become like the little mouse and you shrink, and then you go into like,
man,
taking it like face value, that's not that big of a deal. Like,
but when
you
shrink,
think about it, but it was just done so perfectly, and it was so much fun. All the boss fights are fantastic. Like, they nailed them all. All the cool little bonus levels at the end of each of the worlds. Well, not all,
except for one of them.
Most of them, yeah, were so much fun. Probably my favorite levels in the game. Just an absolute masterpiece. I still don't think, and it's not my game of the year, but I'm happy it won game of the year. Like, shout out to them. That's yeah, they deserve it. I'm not going to say they don't. I think hopefully maybe this is like that first. Astro is never going to be Mario, but I hope Sony sees this and just runs with it. And it's like, all right, Astrobot's our guy. He will never be it will never be Mario, but like it's the closest thing we've got to Mario. You can't, like, you've got Nathan Drake, you've got Kratos.
Kratos can't be a mascot.
They're not going to be mascots. Yeah, they're too just. You've got one right here. Don't pass it up. Use it. And it's also so like, and Mario does it too. When you play a Mario game, you're probably going to see, Donkey Kong. I mean, they've become like one and the same now, but like, I love that they're just so, like, all the games that they, all the cameos and stuff, like I said, like, it's just perfect. I think they have found themselves, a real winner of a franchise here. So keep them coming. Masterpiece. Loved it. Astrobot's number 3.
I'll talk about it in a little bit, but first I'm going to talk about my number 3, and this might be controversial because it's not a game. Shadow of the Erd Tree. I don't care what you classify it as. It's our list, whatever. This is one of the best experiences I had this year. It is just being back in that world was so cool. I love how Shadow of the Erd Tree felt similar enough to Elden Ring, but it also felt different. Like, the amount of verticality that was in this is crazy.
Yeah, when you look at the map, you're like, it's not that big.
And then you're like,
but
if you could like do the whole, like,
you could be here on the map and you're trying to go here and you have to go.
There was so many times when I was like, I'm gonna go this way, and I'm like, oh, whoa, okay, I guess I can't go that way because there's a mile high cliff there. Okay, I don't know what's gonna happen now. Good flip front. Okay. It
It's my number 2, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It had the walkout moment, just like Elden Ring proper did. Maybe not as much of a moment, but it's still, you walk out there and it's like crazy, and then all of a sudden I'm getting killed by this guy that's dancing around. He's got like circle swords and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, I forgot I suck at this game. But like, it told a cool story. Now, to be fair, I didn't beat it because they're just ridiculous. But like, there's so many. I don't remember exactly, but I spent 45 to 50 hours in this thing, a DLC. Like, and it felt like it could have been. It honestly felt like it could have been Elden Ring 2.
I mean,
the bosses were amazing in this. Like,
it was every bit as much. I would say it was closer to Elden Ring 2 than Miles Morales was to Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of similar. At least that. I mean, you're just a different character in the same world. This is a new world. If you release this as Elden Ring 2, I mean, people would probably be upset. I mean, it is more of the same, but I want more of the same. I would pay another $40, $50 or whatever if they came out with another, like, just keep it coming. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking Night Rain, whatever. Yeah, I don't know what to think of that. But, like, I could never get enough Elden Ring. And as much as I've learned to, like, just be all about Soulsborne games. Well, that's not true. I guess Demon Souls would be the first. But, like, I got to Bloodborne late. I got to Dark Souls 3 and 1 late. Demon Souls, I was playing it for the first time, and I'm sure a lot of people were playing it for the first time, but a lot of people had probably played the original. But like Elden Ring and then Erdtree were both like...
They were moments.
Yeah, where it's just like, there's something about experiencing a game along with everybody else, even if you don't talk to anybody else about it, just knowing that you're experiencing it at the same time as everybody else is. I don't know, there's something special about it. And there's just something so engrossing about these types of games. But it's FromSoft. I don't care about... it wasn't really a Soulsborne game, but the one that came out this year with Stellar Blade.
Okay.
Stellar Blade, kind of, but not really. Jedi Survivor, kind of, but not really. Like, there's all these games that are kind of, sort of Soulsborne, but they're not.
Leave it to the pros.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's second only and barely to, I would say, Grand Theft Auto. Or just Rockstar in general, where it's like, when one of these games comes out, it's like an event. It might as well be a console launch. Like, it is, you had to be there kind of thing. I felt almost the same way about this as I did when Elden Ring came out. Like, it was just, it seems like everybody was playing it. I just got so invested in it again. I mean, I beat the DLC. Then I went to New Game Plus. Rushed through that to get back to the DLC so I could get summoned by you if you needed me.
Oh, yeah, because I didn't start this when you started, because I was up in New York when it came out. So I was like
Is that
5-6
what it
days
was?
behind
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I don't think I had beaten it by the time you got back, but I beat it probably not long after that. But yeah, then I rushed through to get back to it in New Game Plus. I don't think you ever really called me in. I don't know that we ever did any co-op. I was prepared for it, but I don't think you ever actually ended up doing it.
No, that's weird. I don't think I did, because I did many times in the main game.
Yeah.
I mean, I was summoning people, but I was just going with randos or the NPCs.
Right. But then I ended up beating the DLC. I don't think I ever beat it again. I don't think I beat the final boss again. But I got to the final boss. But, like, I don't care if people say it's not a real game, it's not a true, shouldn't have been nominated. if they can come out with a DLC that's better than almost every other full game that came out this year, step your game up. I don't know what to tell you. It's a fantastic game.
It's unreal. Yeah, it's just so I also think back to how different the locales are, the biomes, the vistas, whatever you want to call them, where you've got like the dragon area that's red and all this, and you got like these sleeping dragons and it's all rocky and stuff like that. And then you got the mesmer, like the keeper of the flame or whatever he is, the red guy, and you've got like that whole tower thing that you got to go up, and you can go this way, but then there's a back entrance as well to go up in here and do this to get to that other area. And then you think of like the friggin' woods, and the first time those scary orange eye whatever things, and I was like, what the F am I supposed to do? How do I get past these people? And then the entire time you're in there, the whole time I'm playing it like it's a Metal Gear game, and I'm trying to get no alerts because, like, I don't know when those things are going to come back. I don't know when they're going to see me. And then that boss was freaking nuts. The bosses in this are so cool. I still don't know how. I wrote it down here, and I'd forgotten it until I read it. I don't know how I beat Renala. I think it was her name on the first try. I don't know how I did that. Rolana, maybe. I don't know how I beat her on the first try. Probably pure luck.
I think that is my favorite. That might be my favorite boss fight of all of Elden Ring. Like, it was just tough but fair. Like, it was
and beautiful.
Fun.
I don't know what it was, but like the colors,
it was so
and the
smooth, the way
and
she fights, and like just the smooth like dancing. I think that's my favorite boss fight in the entire game, the original included.
Yep. So I don't really know what else to say, but it's fantastic. It's the best DLC I've ever played, and it's good enough to be Elden Ring 2. I'm going to count it as a real game. It's number 3 for me. Anything else you want to say about it?
No.
My number 2 is Astrobot. I didn't think it's better than Sunshine. I'm sorry, James. It's way better than Super Mario Sunshine. It's better than any 3D Mario game I've played except for Galaxy, I would say. It's better than, like I said, it's better than Sunshine. It's better than 3D World, and I know people don't even count those as 3D Mario.
It's probably my favorite 3D platformer.
Yeah. I think only Galaxy is better in my mind. Like, Odyssey was just a collectathon. It got kind of boring and stuff. And that was, maybe that was because of all the open areas and stuff, and it was just about getting the moons or the stars, whatever they were in that. But this is like, the game is a technical marvel. It's a technical marvel, just like the pack-in, quote-unquote, game was with Astrobot's, what the hell was it called?
What?
The pack-in Astro game. What the hell was it called?
Playroom?
Astro's Playroom, that's right. Like Sean was saying, the cameos in this, the little bots and everything, and it just it really, at the end of the day, it looked amazing, it sounded amazing, and it played amazing. Like, that's it. Even without obviously all the PlayStation references and the history stuff and all that put it over the top, but even without that stuff, it's a damn near perfect 3D platformer. Also, the fact that they supported it with the free speedrun levels, the fact also that this was not a full price game, they didn't make it a $70 game, which was so smart on their part. But you get the free speedrun levels, you get that Winter Wonderland, whatever it's called, Christmas update level, which is not, it's like a whole new world. And it's not just like you get one of the power-ups, you have to use all the power-ups to get everything. The power-ups in this were so cool. Like Sean was saying, like the mouse power-up or the power down, if you want to be punny about it. Like, and that is the power. I know this sounds stupid, but it's like that is the power of the PS5 on display, that you go from just like a normal size robot, and then you shrink down in real time, and everything is there. Like, there's no loading, there's no nothing. It was kind of like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, because just the way that you shrink in real time and everything just. It's a technical masterpiece, this game. The power-ups are great. Other than that one, I like there's the chicken rocket where you go up, there's the dog rocket where you go forward, there's the really heavy ball where you got to get in the things and go shoot over there. The sponge, the first time I did the sponge, I think I literally laughed out loud because I was like, this is just amazing. And even when it was at its hardest with some of those like sacred symbols, I'll call them levels, like the triangle levels, the circle levels, the X levels, whatever. Yes, they were difficult, but man, when I got that last one done, it was such a flow state that I was like, okay, I'm gonna, and there's no thinking, it just happens and you get it. And then you get to the end when you've got all your bots and they're making you a wall and you're going up the wall and it's like, oh my God, this is so friggin', it's just an incredible game. Loved every second of it. Astrobot is my number 2. So number 1 for both of us. I'm going to let you take this one. Don't even try to make jokes. You're trying to think of something. There's nothing else to think of.
It's Rebirth.
I feel like people have forgotten. I said I was going to let you take it, but I feel like people recency bias, whatever the opposite of that is, that this game came out February 29th, which is funny. And people like have seemed to have forgotten about it.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind that it won almost nothing at the Game Awards, but go ahead.
This is more, I loved Remake, but this is more what I expected out of when I heard the game or games. Game was going to be remade in games. This actually felt more like Final Fantasy than Remake did. They nailed it. It's just seeing like Junon for the first time, like in not real life, but 3D and not just like a little weird. It was Final Fantasy VII come to life. The voice acting is perfect. The music is perfect. I feel like the gameplay was probably very similar to the original, but it seemed to click with me more now. I remember the first time I was like, oh, your normal attacks don't really do anything. It's just something to pass the time. You're doing like 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, and then you do your special move, and it's like 100. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's really how you're doing your damage. The rest of it's just you got to do something. It's not turn-based, so you can't just like sit there. That doesn't make any sense. So you're just kind of attacking, like a little chip damage, and then all of a sudden you get enough to do your move, which is more of like a normal attack in the original one. And then you've still got limit breaks and whatever, but
synergy moves with your partners.
Yeah. But it's just they turned all these little, similar to Remake did with Midgar, but not quite to the same level. They turned all these areas that were just kind of a whole lot of nothing in the original into these whole big, just like the where Calm is, and like the whole first area, and then you get to where like Cosmo Canyon is, and just like all these things are just like life size now. It's not just like an overworld map where you just kind of you can walk across the canyon. It's like, no, you're in the canyon, like here it is all around you. It was just it was kind of like Remake all over again, where I'm just like, I can't believe this is happening. Like Remake was almost just kind of a tease. Like it was so cool that it was finally starting, but it's like Midgar is just okay. It's an iconic opening, but I don't know that we needed a whole game of it. Now it really feels like Final Fantasy. The whole time you're playing with it, it seemed very like, yeah, this is fun. Yeah, this is beautiful.
But
whatever.
We know where we're going.
But yeah, you kind of know where the game is going to end. And I need to go back and just watch maybe Max Dude, I don't know. Watch some kind of video that's just like, here's what happened, here's what it means, whatever. Because the roller coaster of emotions during that whole thing, just like the sense of dread, like, oh God, we're almost there. Oh God, I know it's next. Oh God, here it comes. What's gonna happen? Oh, wait, what? No. What?
Wait.
Like, just this, like, up and down and up and down. And then even after it was done, I'm like, I still don't know what to believe. Like, what even just happened? I can't wait for the third. I feel like they've earned my trust. There's a part of me that's like, how do you make there's a lot of game left. Like, I think technically we're only at the end of disc 1 right now.
Correct.
There's still disc 2 and disc 3. So you took what was like 2 hours in the original game and made it into a 40-hour game. And now you've got what was like 20 hours in the original game, and you're going to make that into... I don't know how... There's a lot to cram in. And based off of the original. I mean, who knows what's going to happen now? I assume everything that happened before will probably happen again, and then some. Like, I don't really see much getting removed. They're only going to add to it. The way it ended was pretty crazy. I'm a little confused. Like,
I'm a lot confused.
well, I'm very confused, but I'm also just like thinking how the game's going to work. Like, most of what's left in the original is revisiting all these places. So
They've said you're going to get the airship.
and it's not like you revisit them. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. Like, where time has passed and all of a sudden, like, things are totally different. Like, no, you go back to Calm, and it's... Well, I don't think you go back to Calm. But you go back to Junon, and it's pretty much still Junon. And you go back to Cosmo Canyon, and it's still Cosmo. And you just go back to all these places. And I'm like, that worked in the original because it was all one continuous game. Now you're going to have a standalone title, even though it's one part of a 3-part thing. But it's a standalone thing. And are you really just going to go back in and revisit all the places you went to in the last game? I'm worried how they pull it off and don't make it seem... There's so much ground to cover, and you also have to do it in a way that doesn't just feel repetitive from what you've already done. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, I still stand by Final Fantasy VII being the best story from a video game ever. This game is the biggest part of that story. They nailed it. I can't say whether or not they improved on it because I don't think we'll know
It's still
until
incomplete,
it's all...
yeah.
I still don't really know what to think. All the Zack stuff still confuses me. I don't really know what's going on. But, I mean, it was just... It's a masterpiece.
It's like the game started out like, oh, we're just jumping right into it. We're doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the F's going on? It's like, okay, here's Zach. Okay, wait a minute. These people are dead. Well, that doesn't make any sense because, wait a minute. Okay, so they are doing that kind of thing. Okay, and then from the very beginning, it starts on a what the F is happening, and it ends on a what the F is happening. And it's so hard to talk about this game without talking about what happens with Aerith. Like, and they, like, she should have won Best Performance at the Game Awards because everything she does in this game... First off, it's like I said about the first game. This game is just special. There's something about it that is just special. And there's something about Aerith, and it's probably because you know what's happening and everything, but it's also because she's just this fount of, like, optimism and, like, just bubbly. Fount, yeah. Isn't that a word?
Fountain?
No, fount.
Two quones.
You quoted, Jerry. But no, she's just overflowing positivity and all this stuff, and then. But you know where it's going, and then everything's happening. Like, what does Sephiroth know that we don't know? And then there's Cloud with all the, and it's like they're kind of like their flashbacks because he's getting his memory back. But then there's also, like, weird stuff, and then everything that happens at the end, it's like there's stuff that is supposed to happen right after something happens, but we don't see it happen. but then we're after that, and it's like Cloud is weird, but oh my God, like I have never gone into I've never, after I played a game, gone immediately to YouTube and just listened and watched people and theories and everything.
I mean, the last time that happened to me was Remake.
Yeah.
And then it happened all over again, and it'll probably happen again hopefully next year.
You want to know why this is my game of the year? I can sum it up. I'm not going to show y'all, but like you wouldn't see it. But like, so I like to take notes when I'm playing games. These were my notes for Rebirth.
Oh my God.
Like I can't wait to find out what the name of the third one is, what they're going with. Reunion makes the most sense, but they already did Crisis Core Reunion. Yeah. They can't call this Final Fantasy VII Reunion. You've and some like the set pieces in this, the gameplay was phenomenal. I love it. Like you said, everything about it, the ATB gauge, the power up moves, all this stuff. But like the set pieces in this, and like when Tifa falls in the water or the sludge or whatever, and she gets eaten, and it's like, oh my God, they're gonna do this instead. And it's like, why the hell is Sephiroth here? Why is he underwater? Why is he cutting open the poor fish's his glass belly thing or whatever? And it's like, they're gonna do this, and like, no, they save her. Okay, that's weird. You've got the and then the story of, like, not even, like, obviously everybody's focused on Aerith and what are they going to do with it? What's going to change? What's not going to change? But then you get stuff like, you get so much backstory of Barrett, and you see him and what was his buddy's name? Dine. And all that's great. And you learn about Barrett and his daughter more. Zack, I get why everybody loves Zack after playing this game. Like, I got it when I played Crisis Core. And I get it even more after this. And then you get into the whole thing with like with Zack, and he's seeing Wedge was the skinny guy or the fat guy, and he's making the different.
Wedge was the fat guy.
And then there's the things where there's the rainbow colors and stuff. And then you've got like, oh, you've got this looking dog is Patches O'Houlihan or whatever his name is in this place, but now it's different. What's the Stamps, right? Did I just pull that out of my ass?
I think that's right. Stamps.
There's different stamps depending on what's happening in Final Fantasy VII Returnal. Final Fantasy VII Revengeance would be awesome. Man. And then at the end, like, Cloud looks up and he's like, oh, this sucks. And everybody's like, what the F are you seeing, dude? It's like, what is happening? There are so many questions. It's just a special ass game. And it lived up to the hype for me. It exceeded the hype. I just cannot. I mean, I have to wait, but I cannot wait for part 3. And I really hope that they've said switching from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5 is going to make things faster. I really hope that's true. Unreal 5, I know there's like, it's just like every game jitters and stuff like that. Please don't have all these technical issues. Don't delay this game. Don't let this be a PS6 game. Man, and then you think about like the final boss fights after the thing happens.
And you're like, no, you're not. You got to keep playing.
But then it's like the team ups start happening, and I'm like, holy shit, we're getting these two together to fight. And then it's like, wait, how are you here? We're fighting together against Sephiroth? How is that possible? And then it's like, there's the other thing. Oh my God, when it's like she's like, you know, this is our date, and she clearly knows what's going to happen, and then it's like, I'm gonna push you into the flowers. It's like, what the fuck is happening? Oh my God, this game.
Yeah, I feel like I need to just watch an entire, like, with Remake, it was like good game, crazy ending. Mm-hmm. This, it's like I need to relive the entire game. I don't want to replay the whole game, but I need to like watch a summary of the whole game, not the ending, the whole game.
Yeah,
because there's so much that's different from the original that I've probably already forgotten. But
yeah, it's my game of the year. There's nothing that really, once I played it and once I got through it, I was like, I loved Shadow of the Erdtree. I loved Astrobot.
And that's the thing.
They didn't even come close, really.
Well, to me, Shadow of the Erdtree was probably the most fun gameplay I had. But this, it's like it was fun, but it was also just like the story, the entire experience, the whole package. It's the game of the year. I don't think I had more fun playing this than I had more fun experiencing this than any other game. I probably had more fun playing Erdtree than Rebirth, but taken as a whole, Rebirth is game of the year.
And I remember when I beat it, it was just like, I knew I wasn't going to get the platinum in this game, but it was one of those things where it was just like when it was over, it's one of those games, like I said, I just couldn't stop thinking about, and I was like, I don't even want to play anything right now. I can't play anything right now because nothing's going to measure up to what the hell I just went through. Like, it's just so well done. It's easily my game of the year.
Yep.
Those were our top 10 games of 2024. We hope you enjoyed it. This is always a long episode. We knew this one would be. Let us know what your favorite games of last year were down in the comments below. And until the next time, Sean, go ahead and take us out.
Thank you for playing.